I was asked by a friend to document how I do a headstock repair. There's many ways to do it. I choose to use epoxy on areas where it's never supposed to come apart again. And I use hide glue on guitars that used hide glue when they were built, and Type Bond type of wood glue on guitars that were built with that. But headstocks, because they're never supposed to come apart, and especially with the end grain run out on a Gibson repair, this is how I do it. But you're not in any kind of rush when you're using this stuff, because it really does, stay open for at least a half an hour. And you want this to sit in the wood for a little bit and get into both sides. And basically, dry wood like this, it's going to suck in the glue, and you don't want any voids of glue. You want it to swell the wood, or absorb into the wood. I got my Jed clampet, and I like the flat side to be on the face, so I can see what I'm doing, and I don't want a big clamp. People use splines, they do all kinds of things. I've never had a problem doing it this way. And this is probably the 100th one I've done. Well, I'll correct that. There was one Gibson that continued to break, not on the glue line, just beyond the glue line. I think it was a bad piece of wood, and that one needed a new neck. The next thing I'm going to do, because I don't want to over clamp, but I want to make sure that the glue is, that it is still a tight joint, is put some back pressure on it. So I typically take this twine, it's not really twine, it's nylon rope, tie a bowline on this side, and tie it back to the strap hook in the back. I'm just, you're not like, you're pulling on this until there's a little bit of glue squeeze out. And then it's like, it's exactly the way you want it to be, because you're not squeezing all the glue out. And you probably can't see it, but with that much pressure, I can see the glue starting to squeeze out, which means we have a good connection. So we're at this point now, new day. The epoxy's cured, not 100%, it takes 3 days to get 100%, but it's something like 80%. So I don't want to stress it, but I'm going to paint it. I'm going to flat sand this part of the head plate, headstock. Only going to put color where the crease is right here, and then the whole thing's going to get cleared. So the goal is to flat sand on a block. And I'm not going to bore everybody to watch this for like 20 seconds to turn it off. This area to the top will get 600 and 600 only. This is 320. It's going to go 320, 400, and then 600. Doing my best to stay away from here so I don't have to mask this off. But if I do, I do. I mean, the goal is to get it right. And if that means you have to spend more time masking things out so that it's 100%, that's what you do. So many times I see this where either the edges get sanded down too much or the center gets sanded down too much. This is why you use a block. I quickly go over the masking process if you've never done this before. Because you have binding in black, you're going to paint the black, so you need to tape over the binding for the color, then be able to take that off in the booth or wherever you're spraying and spray clear over everything. But you don't want it to go on the fretboard. So you first put it on the fretboard because that's staying, and the tape that goes over that will go over this tape to a certain degree. But I wanted to show, like when you put tape on here, I don't know if you can see the gaps. So the best way to deal with that, and I'll just go with this one right here, is take a razor blade and at every fret, make a cut, and then push it down. And then after this, I'll put the blue tape, which is the tape for covering the binding, and then I'll take that off in the booth, which you probably see there too.